Previously on SequelCentric.
Duff, what the hell's going on over there? You guys okay?
I don't know, man, but I gotta go. Be sure to vote, Nate. It's super important.
Duff! Duff! Are you okay?
Hey everyone, welcome to SequelCentric. We take a look at follow-ups in media and see how they stack up against their predecessors. I'm Duff, and he is the Leo to my Charlie, Nate.
What's going on, Duff?
Hey, another week, another show.
Yes, this one, pretty damn excited.
I have to say, in a climate of such unease, politically speaking, which is something I really don't like to speak of in general, this movie really...
The soul of our country is at stake. The Purge targets the poor and the innocent.
The senator's going to win, and she's going to make real changes, too.
It is a night that is defining our country.
It's time to do something about that senator.
The Purge has to come to an end.
And,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, by the way, hope you voted.
Yeah, just everything seems to be hot and heavy, whether you're on the internet or not. So, this movie franchise is perfect, considering the first one was released in 2013, then Anarchy 2014, and of course, election year 2016.
Yeah.
So, obviously we had to do this one. It just fits in so nicely with what's going on currently. You know what I mean?
Hope you voted.
I hope you voted too.
I was really talking to the audience, not so much you. I mean, I trust
I
your
see.
political
I don't
judgment.
matter. Okay.
I mean, we're the lower class citizens. We don't matter.
Oh yeah, that's right. Better get my guns. So, what's your history with the franchise here, Duff?
Well, I have to say, I am not a fan per se of horror movies.
Is it a horror movie?
Well, I'm all right.
Would you classify? I wouldn't classify it as a horror movie, like Halloween, Friday the 13th, Happy Death Day.
Yeah.
Chucky.
Oh, that was horrible. All right, let me back up. Before I answer that, I am not typically a fan of your traditional slasher, horror, teen dream suspense. Oh no, Johnny, don't run towards the sawmill.
You mean like the classic 80s horror?
Yeah, I'm not into that. I like something that makes me think. Like, like 'em or hate 'em, Ashton Kutcher's The Butterfly Effect. A beautiful example of what really trippy suspense can be. It makes you think. Yeah. It makes you go, holy hell. It makes you think about life afterwards. Those are the movies I like.
Yeah.
That being said, I have been a fan of the Purge series since the first movie came out. I believe it was my buddy Brian who said that I needed to check this movie out, and him and I are pretty along the same lines of, movie taste and music taste, so I gave it a shot, and it really did exceed my expectations. So I've watched every movie from the Purge. I can't wait to see the upcoming Purge, which is going to be great, because the
Forever Purge that was supposed to come out this year.
Yes, the Forever Purge. I love it. I absolutely love the franchise. I think it's one of those movies that really makes you think, because in a time, especially when the movie got released, it's like, okay, how far off are we from this being reality?
Well, the first one says it's in 2022 and we're
in 2020. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like, it's, right around the corner.
Yeah. It's not too far off from being far-fetched, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
No. I think when the first two movies came out in 2013, 2014, there was just, enough of a gap that, like, it not too far in the future, but, like Blade Runner or something crazy, right? But enough where it tells a story and you can believe it, because even 2013, 2014, it kind of looked like it could go in that direction. So like an alternate Earth history. like Man in the High Castle or something on Amazon. But now like we're what Anarchy was 2022 or 2023?
Anarchy was 2023.
Okay,
I
so the
believe,
first one was
and then
2022, and we're sitting at the
2024
end of 2020.
Yeah.
So
the Purge
it's
election
like
year takes place in 2024.
it's like knocking at your door.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, my history with the franchise is I've been aware of it since 2013, and it wasn't until we decided to put it on the docket where I dove in. And I think you told me you can skip the first one, watch the second one for sure, and the third one because with Leo as the main character in both movies, there's a strong connection there.
Yeah.
But with my OCD, I have to watch the first one.
Dude, you're the same as me. I
know.
I had already seen all of the movies. My wife and I both, mind you, she actually watched them with me the second time around for homework. So that tells you something about them because she doesn't like crap movies. And if she knows it's crap, she'd just walk out of the room.
I don't know what the budget is, but watching the first one, I would rank it up as a low budget film because the first one came out pretty quickly, and then of course the second one was the next year. So
yeah,
I think the budget's ramped up quite a bit, especially in this one. They're in DC, they're on roofs, there's drones. I'm sure CGI, but still, I think they had a little bit bigger of a budget by the time they got to the third movie. And now we're talking the fifth movie's supposed to drop. There's been 2 seasons of a TV series that I wasn't even aware of.
I had no idea that and from everything I've read, it looks spectacular. So maybe, just maybe, that'll be another episode.
I'm all in. I mean, the first 3 movies alone, I know we're going to get around to talking the pros and cons on election year here, but after I binged the first 3 movies, and I would say those 3 movies is almost a masterpiece of a trilogy, up there for me, like the original Star Wars trilogy and Back to the Future, which I hold in high regards as not a perfect trilogy, but pretty damn close.
When it comes to sci-fi, there are no better than Back to the Future and Star Wars, my brother.
But I would have to say, the third Purge movie, I think, and I'm probably going to get a little bit of hate here.
Hey, leave your comments below. Let us know what you think.
I think the third Purge, the election year, actually is a better third movie than Back to the Future 3. I liked Back to the Future 3, and it's better than some other 3 movies like Smoking the Bandit 3 and some other Leprechaun 3 or whatever. Friday the 13th 3.
I have to say, Clara Clayton is not to get on a different episode's topic, but Clara Clayton really made the movie The Old West, The Train. I think that if you're going to try and tell me that The Purge 3 is a better third than Back to the Future, I think we are going to have to debate, fine sir.
Well, we'll do that on the Back to the Future 3. I'm just saying.
I think that Leo starring in his own role really gave the movie a new dynamic that we didn't see in the second movie. So I really have to say, when it comes to sequels, which we're not at that section of the show, so I digress. But I think that as far as sequels go, I think that The Purge 3 really has a stronghold on the second movie because it is such a monumental movie. They all 3 are.
Yeah, well, The Purge is a franchise at this point, like, Fast and the Furious and other things. You can watch it alone or you can watch it paired up with Anarchy, right? Yeah. Where, with Back to the Future 3, you pretty much have to watch 1 and 2 to get the 3, to get the whole story that encompasses the whole Doc
You
and
don't
Marty.
have to watch 1. If you're going into it to watch 3 is the main goal, I think you can get away with the B-roll that they cut from 2, or they recut from 2, to fill in the blanks from 1. So yes, is it a prerequisite to watch the second? Most definitely in the Back to the Future trilogy. But is it really necessary to watch the first one?
No, but my whole point is with any of the Purge movies, because the fourth movie in the franchise is the first Purge, which
It's the prequel,
which is a sequel, but also a prequel at the same time. You can watch any of these movies or the TV series without having to watch any of the other ones. But I would highly suggest watching Anarchy in Election Year, because I wasn't expecting Leo to be in Election Year, because, the second one was different from the first one. And because the concept is so grand, you can do anything. I mean, you could have like a death race thing on the freeway, like a Cannonball Run thing. I mean, like they say, all crime is legal, including murder.
Yeah. And not only is it legal to create murder on, like, your fellow neighbor.
And for the first time since its inception, no one has been granted special immunity from the Purge. No citizen or group will be exempt. Blessed be our new founding fathers and America, a nation reborn. May God be with you all.
But with the third one, they're actually not holding any exemptions for government employees, which was always a thing with the first and second and fourth movies, being that it's a prequel.
Yeah.
So it seems like we're both in the buy it category. So I guess that's it for the rest of the show.
Spoiler alert, spoiler. Don't jump to the end. Don't sequel it yet. Let's get to the pros and cons. There's lots of pros and very little cons in my book.
In my book as well. As a matter of fact, I'm going to have a really hard time thinking of some cons. So I guess that leads us to our next segment of the show. Pros and cons.
Let me grab the bull by the horns. There are so many pros in my book, very little cons.
All right, can I cut out it really quick and just get to the point? Can you seriously think of any cons?
Can I?
I can't.
Dante dying at the end, because he was a small thread through all. Because the first two movies, he was a stranger. I mean, if you watch 2, you don't know who he is. You watch 3, there he is. He got the name. And then if you go back to 1, you can kind of see that little thread going on. And he does. When you see him in the first one, he's just the stranger that the kid saved, right?
Yeah, he's the homeless guy.
And then he just kind of shows up with that Malcolm X-like character. We'll talk about that.
That's exactly
we already talked about that. We already talked about that. Well, so watch
exactly
that other
the
show
that I thought. Yeah, but that's another episode.
But finally, we get his name, Dante, because in the other 2 movies he was just listed in the credits as the stranger. Yeah. So we finally get a name, and he takes the mantle. Obviously, the other guy died or something, so he took up the mantle, and but he said he did a noble sacrifice. So. To make sure that the senator lived, right? So that right there is my only con. Everything else about the movie is just amazing.
Yeah. Much like I like to do, I'm going to basically take your con and turn it into a really good pro.
Don't make it a habit, Duff.
That's kind of my thing, dude. You know me. So, all right, here's the thing. Dante being a martyr to his own cause, you had it perfectly when you said the Malcolm X thing. He was really thrust into that position, so to speak. I'm not Italian, but I like to talk with my hands for any of the YouTube people out there watching. Just make fun of me, deal with it. It's all good, but I'm going to keep doing it because it's just what I do. Anyhow, Dante being thrust into the role of the savior, the hero, the leader, he really, it's the Braveheart syndrome. It's the, Jesus Christ on a cross syndrome. He's dying for his cause. It's the classic martyr. And I really think that being that it was Charlie Rowan, the senator, like it was kind of like how we felt, or how a lot of people felt back when, Obama was trying to get into office for the first time, and there was the Yes We Can movement. Yes, we can. Well, Dante Bishop was saying, yes, we can. And, we will stand up. Yeah. We will serve, we will help protect, and we will try to stop this gross neglect to humankind. Because let's face it, the Purge, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Yes, it does minimize crime per se, but it's more about population management, and it's about who has money enough to protect their home and their family, and the government knows that when they're going into it, but according to the plot line, it is a totalitarian government. So take that with a grain. But again, I really think Bishop dying for his cause really led on to the overall heart feels of the movie.
No, it definitely had a major impact, and you could feel it, Because, I mean, even, I can't remember the shop owner's name that had the little...
Joe Dixon.
Joe, yeah. I mean, even he sacrificed himself to make sure, even though he didn't think the senator was going to win, but I guess...
but let's face it. He didn't want to leave the shop because that girl wanted her freaking candy bar.
Even Joe, made an ultimate sacrifice, Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Charlie Rowan, played by the fantastic Elizabeth Mitchell, really sold that part, and I think her and her character in and of itself, and her rapport with Leo, is just such a like you say, a good feels position to have in the movie.
Yeah. Now, Leo in the beginning of Anarchy had a clear objective, but at the end, he changed his objective, and I think he kind of redeemed himself and a little bit of his human soul, Yeah. And then that it kind of carries on over into, election year, being the head of security for the senator.
Yeah. When I saw him stroll onto the screen, it was amazing. It just gave me like a really ear to ear smile, because it's like, oh man, he's really picked up and he's doing well with himself.
Oh yeah, true. Plus, watching the second movie and going into election year, you know what he's capable of.
Oh yeah, you saw it in 2. You saw it with the amount of strategy he had with getting out of the city.
Oh yeah, definitely. With the new founding fathers not being happy with the senator, and she was just ahead in the polls, that's why they had to kick it back. If you're at level 10, you're not safe anymore, like the first Purge, Oh,
yeah, no one's safe.
And so, and Leo foresaw stuff coming. So he was the only one that knew that the trapdoor was there. When the shirt decided to go sideways, the trapdoor was there, and the mercenaries that came in, and he was out,
Yeah.
Move.
Moving.
Go.
Okay, what the hell is that?
That's my little secret. Move. 1, 2, 3.
So
yeah, that was like, this is my surprise.
So we're kind of back on the streets again, like the first one,
Yeah, he really threw off a Jack Bauer vibe.
Yeah.
In election year, like Leo was like rocking the 24, and I absolutely loved it. He sold it hook, line, and sinker.
Oh yeah. I don't know if it's really a pro, but let's classify it as an interesting tidbit.
Okay.
The African American girl, was she a junior or a senior in high school? She was wearing some sort of school outfit, and she was trying to steal the candy bar.
If I want some candy, I'll take some candy. I'll take whatever the fuck I want. This is what the Purge is all about. Me getting mine, you getting yours, and nobody stopping anybody. Because here comes your candy girl.
She was not happy, and then she came back purposely on Purge night to take him out, to take his candy bar, which seems to me at this point, whatever the original idea of the Purge was, has been kind of morphed into like duck season, rabbit season type of thing, you know?
Well, of course it has. But then again, like someone speaking to you from Baltimore City, Maryland, I can say that there are certain parts of metropolitan areas that you just have an abundance of crazy motherfuckers.
Mother forkers.
Yeah, because it's the good place.
Exactly. Yeah, that was, I like the, was he, I know he's Latino. I don't know if he was Puerto Rican, but,
Marcos,
Joe
yes.
didn't want to show, he didn't want to, Joe didn't want to shoot her. And Marcos had no problem because he came from Mexico City. But I think he grazed her ear or something. And then she comes back with a big old posse. But they got 2 cars all lit up. That was an interesting scene. Like I said, there's so many pros in this for me. It's great.
Yeah. If we're going to talk about horror movies, suspense movies, whatever genre we're going to throw this movie into, we have to talk about, does it hold up? Is it corny? And does the plot follow through independently of it being a slasher or a horror flick? And I have to say, yes, it does hold up. The continuity is there. It is an amazing script, and independently of it being a slasher / horror flick, it holds up as a really good story. And I can't say many bad things about the Purge election year.
Now, when you say slasher flick, I immediately think 1980s.
Yeah, like Freddy and
Halloween,
Jason and
Friday the
Michael
13th,
Myers.
Nightmare on Elm Street, Child's Play, anything like that.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't classify it, I guess, from a certain point of view, I guess you could say it's a slasher flick, but I would say it's more on the thriller, suspense.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Maybe a dash of slasher. I mean, it's not like your typical, you got one bad person going out and killing a whole bunch of teenagers or young adults or something like that. I think that might be without doing any research, I think that would be the typical dynamic of a slasher flick, you know?
Yeah.
What about Final Destination?
I have to say, as much as those get a bad rap, I love the Final Destination.
Well, would you
movies.
classify, would that be like a slasher flick, or would that fall in the suspense?
It's both.
Okay.
Because there's a ton of gore.
Yeah, but supposedly death is coming to get them. So that's one entity, whereas the Purge is something different. I guess you could shoehorn in the slasher flick, but I would classify it as a suspense thriller.
It was more gore, though. Like Hostel and Saw, those are more for show than anything else. But
True.
As far as decent storylines, I think that Final Destination, the first one, to get off track here, because that's another episode, because it's another trilogy. When it comes to Final Destination, the first plot line was passable. It was good. It was really good.
Yeah.
I like gore. I like special effects. So, yeah, that's what sold the first one for me. But we're not talking about Final Destination. We're talking about The Purge. And I think The Purge is a much better franchise.
No, I agree. Maybe, some of the other stuff, you're playing loosey-goosey with some of the rules, like Halloween or Final Destination or whatever. I think with this, it's so grounded in reality.
Yeah. Oh yeah, especially 3-4 years after its release.
Yeah. What would you classify Stanley Kubrick's The Shining?
The Shining? The Shining is horror suspense.
Now, I would say I would classify The Purge as horror suspense. Thriller? It's definitely, because there's blood and stuff, definitely back in the old days when you went to go rent a tape, it would be in the horror section for sure.
Well, yeah, but that's because the fine folks at Blockbuster decided it was horror.
True,
no,
true.
I think they all are interchangeable to a certain degree. This one definitely is more like post-apocalyptic almost, because it is a totalitarian government, and the fact that the government is saying, hey, go kill someone tonight. It's your right as an American.
You know, you're right. The Purge is, with the new founding fathers, is giving you permission to go out and, you know, murder your boss or your neighbor or whoever's annoying you. But they did sugarcoat it a bit by saying all crime is legal. So if you wanted to get high on cocaine or I'm sure marijuana is legal by then, but anything that normally that's illegal, cockfighting, whatever's illegal, you know, in this version of America, it's all legal. You know, if all you want to do is drive 120 miles an hour on the freeway for 12 hours, great. If you want to go out and kill your parents because they put a curfew on you with Candy Girl, you can do that too. So whatever the original purpose was, I think it kind of got twisted over the decades. Because by the time election year comes around, it's been going on since 2000 or 2002, because they said the senator was the surviving family member of the Purge 18 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's been going on for a while. So whatever the primary purpose was, it kind of made its way towards, you know, killing if someone, like I said, done you wrong. Because they had the one guy hanging up.
Oh yeah, this is a guy that stole all our pensions.
Yeah.
He's not a problem anymore. Yeah. No, that was, see, when it's just, I'm okay with murder. And like, this might be a shocker to everyone out there, but I don't care. If you rape and molest and pillage, I'd love to kill you myself just because it's hateful.
Well, that's why Leo went out to correct a wrong in Anarchy.
In Anarchy, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's another episode.
True. The one thing I thought was quite fascinating was the fact that they were doing some new stuff, that foreigners are flying into America for Purge night.
America is the greatest country in the world.
So it's been around where you got people dressing up, not legal in their country.
Well, think about the juxtaposition. How many decades have we as Americans been going to Amsterdam to get high?
Decades. And yeah, you're right. There's no difference. You know, like all-time record, the end of Anarchy was a high record. Election year was another, I think, a high record.
Yeah.
An interesting little tidbit that I thought, you know, you got foreigners flying in. What else?
So, I don't know that there's much more to say on the means of pros and cons, but I will add one more. I absolutely loved the father-like relationship that Joe had with Lainey.
I distinctly remember one time you called me sir.
Oh, bullshit.
But listen, I just want to say thank you.
You're my family, Joe.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Lainey is an all-American badass, you know, a teenage delinquent grown up to be a rebel in her own right, protecting people when the hospitals are closed. She's, you know, bandaging people. She's injecting people with antibiotics to try and help. You know, she's a kick-ass soldier in this war that America's
under. Yeah, she's a badass in a different way. Yeah, to go out on Purge night and help people, you got to have some cojones, you know, as they say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, another interesting thing, Duff, since you brought that up, was I thought it was interesting, the whole Purge sanitation service, scooping people off, which immediately made me think of the classic Monty Python Holy Grail movie. In the beginning, with the cowbell, bring out your dead. Bring out your dead. I had to pause. I had to have a little chuckle because I don't know if the creators did that on purpose or whatever.
Oh, it was most definitely a nod to Terry Gilliam. Yeah.
In my book, it was a nod to Monty Python. Okay, Duff, what are your final thoughts on the Purge election year?
All right. From the opening T-Rex song, 20th Century, to like Leo Barnes just totally demolishing that role. I really loved every aspect of it. Again, I really don't think I don't think it gets much better with these style of movies, because especially in today's day, 2020, it's still, even 4 years after being released, it's still relevant. And even more so than I think with the last election. I think it's more so today. So overall, my thoughts are it shows us a way home. Just as the movie has a happy ending with, Senator Roan getting the presidency, like, we do have an opportunity for a better tomorrow, but it takes real effort, and it's not just effort on the politicians, and it's keeping the politicians honest. It's about voting local. It's about caring about your future. And if we can all get to that point, we too can have that happy ending that we saw in the election year. And so I really think overall, I absolutely love it. And for that, I'm definitely giving it a buy.
Yeah, I agree with just about everything you said there. I would rank this one way up there, as a sequel. Plus, it's the crazy thing is it is a sequel, but it can also be a standalone. Any of the Purge movies can be standalone. It's the fact that I think Anarchy and Election Year play so well with each other because of Leo. And I believe Leo is going to be in the Ferrera Purge. So I'm so curious to see what his character does, and does he continue the same path that he did in the Election Year, or did he have a relapse like at the beginning of Anarchy?
I really hope so, because he's so much better of a good guy than a bad guy.
And like you said, for a better tomorrow, start local in your city. Go out there, support people that you have the same ideas as you do, and work your way up. And we gotta be better people. Like the senator there, and we can have a better tomorrow for our children. And with that little preach, I would agree with you. Totally buy it.
Woot.
Physical media stream, whatever. You need to have this in your library, and it could be a Halloween movie. It could be an election.
Dude, it could be a Thursday evening in frickin' August. It doesn't matter.
It checks a lot of boxes, but definitely buy it. It's definitely a buy it.
So, Nate, it's another episode. We talk about follow-ups here on the show, and as far as follow-ups go, this is one of the better ones.
I totally agree.
As far as the franchise goes, I said it earlier, but it's a no-brainer. The franchise is just so classic. It gives me the feels like the original Blair Witch does. Not like the sequel to the Blair Witch, which is another episode.
Shh, you're giving away gold, Duff.
So, with that said, hopefully, if your polls are open, you have the opportunity to go out and vote, because your vote matters. This movie is classic proof that sometimes when the high-up government isn't too corrupt to, fix votes and shit like that, your vote does matter. And so make tomorrow a better place for you. For us, for everyone else.
And with that, that's the end of the episode. You want to read us out there, Duff?
Well, before we read you out, I do want to talk about some things that are in the pipeline. We are going to be releasing in December, so subscribe on your podcast feed wherever podcasts are distributed. And of course, we are on YouTube, so subscribe there. And if you like the video, if you like the podcast, let your friends know, because that's the most important thing. We don't rely on advertising. We don't rely on backroom deals. We rely on, hey, if we do a good job, tell your friends. Everyone knows a movie guy.
I want to thank all the family members and friends so far who have supported us and understand, what this means to us. If it goes somewhere, great, but if it stays small, that's good too.
Yeah,
but,
we're just having fun here.
It's just two guys loving movies and other, music and other social media and just having a great time.
If you guys have recommendations, suggestions, comments that you want to give to us, leave them down below on the YouTube or send us an email, show@SequelCentric.com. Well, I think we've completed our task for today's movie in question. Any thoughts before we make like a tree and get out of here?
Yeah. Release the beast!
Stay safe, America.
Release the beast.
That's it for today, guys. I'm Duff.
I'm Nathan.
And until next time, ask yourself this question.
Does it sequel? While Duff is secretly away leaving a whiz, I want to take this opportunity to talk about Mia Bella candles for all your 100% natural needs, using palm wax and scents and oils to make your house smell oh so much better. Whether you want odors be gone or bugs be gone or something for that seasonal thing, we've got it all. Just contact Sandy. Oh, he's back.